Many of you might not have because it was under a gag order till a month ago. Good morning. I don't know if you guys know this, so this is something I do need help with. We're going to catch up in here, trust me. We have a lot to go over. I figured I'd do it in between trying to blow dry my hair. So I come on here, we do this, then I can take a break and blow dry my hair. So TikTok made a change to where we can only hashtag 5 topics now. So that means the videos are not getting out to all the places it needs to be. So I'm asking you guys for some help on this case, on these videos. Aaron Spencer, specifically. Good morning. Thank you, thank you. As we were growing up, we were told about the dangers of things that could happen. And as a girl, one of my biggest fears was that I would need my dad and he wasn't there. This case, you know how we talk about people being in certain positions because that gives them better access to people in vulnerable states, such as people in churches, people in schools, and people in law enforcement? This is another one of those cases. But it was put under an immediate gag order that was lifted 1 month ago. I cannot stress to you guys enough how much we need this story out there. How much we need people to know the name Aaron Spencer. He's a veteran, and he's a hero to more than just our country, but to his little girl. That means you can't speak on it. Everything will be sealed. You can't look at it. That was done to another case that we've been covering lately as well. But there's a reason that this one needs your help. The school resource officer, and I believe it was a former chief of police, is the one who did this. The one that was the pedophile. The one that was the abuser. The one that we hear stories about growing up as girls. It was this man. Not Aaron Spencer, that was the father. You guys will see a tab above my videos. It is Aaron Spencer. All the videos that I've put in there, if you guys can repost them, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm putting out a calling to our true crime community for people to repost, share the story, to say this name. Because, well, to be completely candid with you guys, if we could do this for Luigi, not all of us agree on that, but people raised, what, like $1 million for him? People got his name everywhere. Gypsy Rose. But look at all the beautifulness that happened from Karen Read. Because of what? People spreading the word. Thank you. I'm not reading the comments right now, guys. I'm on my soapbox. Sorry. If there was ever a case for us to come together on and to use our voices in, this is it. This man, this father, he did what many fathers never get to do, and that's save their daughter. Again, she was groomed by the school resource officer, and I believe it was chief of police was his former job as well. There's even talk about possible political ties. Not been able to confirm that yet. He groomed this little girl and essayed her violently, many times over. He has over 40 charges. He had gotten over 40 charges. But when he went into court, he was given a minuscule bail and let out. When that happened, where do you think he went? He went to their house. It was the middle of the night. They heard their dog bark. So they went to go check. The mother asked the father to go check what was going on. His little girl was not in her bed. She wasn't in her bed. They called 911. They came up with who they thought could have done it because of knowing that he was out on bail. Again, law enforcement ties. He abused a position of power to get to the most vulnerable people in our lives. Children. And then a judge opened the door for him to go right the hell back out and do it again. He went out looking for his daughter. This is the middle of the night, early in the morning, guys. Sorry. This is going to be a hard one. I'm not going to lie. I know all of them that we cover are hard. But this one's going to be really hard for some of us. When you have a father that shows up, that cares, that protects and saves, and you find out that not only were they railroaded from the beginning, the judge didn't do anything to protect them. In fact, he went one up on that and he issued a gag order so that nobody could talk about it. The same judge that gave him a low bail gave a gag order on this case. That was brought to the Supreme Court, and I put together a video so you guys could hear the Supreme Court and why they thought it was so horrible. And the Supreme Court got that gag order removed. Let me pull it up for you guys. Like I was saying before, this is a very, very difficult story to talk about for some people. But if people could spread awareness about Luigi, Gypsy Rose, look at all the great things we did for Karen Read's case as a community coming together. So anybody that did any of that, I'm going to challenge you to do the same here. Because now, this man is about to go on trial for doing the one thing that every father should: protecting his child. When he went to look for his daughter, he saw her in this man's vehicle. He chased him down, tried to get his daughter out. He had to use deadly force. His daughter was saved. But the man who had took her and had previously abused her in such a horrific way, he had to go through him to get to her. This man, this former veteran, this father is a hero, not a murderer. When you're preteen or a teenage girl, you don't think of this stuff happening to you. But if something like this did, you always think of the person that can protect you. It was him for this girl. It was him. Not only did he save her, he was her hero once. And now that she needs to get help, that she has to work through this, they're taking him away. They're taking him away when she needs him the most. He did have to use deadly force. Sorry, I got distracted. He did have to use deadly force, but he saved his daughter. He wasn't letting her out of the vehicle. He did what he had to do. He did what, in my opinion, every dad should do. Many people don't get that choice. Many people don't have a dad in their life. But this time, there was one. And he did the right thing and they want to lock him up. They want to lock him up. It was law enforcement that failed her, the school that failed her, the judge that failed her. The county has failed that entire family. So again, I'm going to put out a challenge. If people could want to raise money for Luigi, Carmelo Anthony, Gypsy Rose, and whoever else, let's see them do it for this one. Let's see them do it for a dad who showed up, saved his daughter, fought for his country, and now, when his daughter needs him most, he's ripped away from her. The one man that protected her.
Details of a murder case so sensational the judge and prosecutors worried about conducting a fair trial. But today, a majority of the Arkansas Supreme Court basically released those details themselves, saying Aaron Spencer and his lawyers have the right to speak publicly about how the man accused of sexually assaulting his teenage daughter ended up dead last year. Let's recap how we all got here. Lonoke County deputies arrested Spencer last October, with the sheriff's office saying then only that he killed 67-year-old Michael Fossler after a fight and after he had found him with his teenage daughter. Prosecutors charged Spencer with second-degree murder. Court documents reveal Fossler was facing numerous sexual charges involving Spencer's daughter and had posted bond. Spencer's family took to social media. They started calling him a hero. His lawyers saying he did the same thing that any father would have done.
We feel very confident that this community is going to come to Aaron's side, because every one of them would have done the same thing for their child or their neighbor's child or a member of their family.
But that lawyer, Aaron Casanelli, made that statement in defiance of the judge in the case. Lonoke County Circuit Judge Barbara Elmore had put a gag order on the case and sealed almost every document. Spencer and his lawyers appealed that, and today, a strong ruling from the state's high court. The gag order violated Spencer's First Amendment rights, with 3 justices saying they thought the case should have been removed from Judge Elmore's court. That's not going to happen, but the ruling listed new details that we didn't know before. Spencer had discovered his daughter had snuck out. He jumped into his truck and found Fossler with his daughter inside that truck. The opinion from Justice Courtney Ray Hudson said Spencer forced Fossler off the highway that night. That's when they fought, and moments later, Spencer called 911 to say he shot Fossler. Casanelli.
That's my hope, that no jury will convict. But I need you guys for this. I need you guys to spread this story as wide as you can. That way, when it does come time for him to go to court, there's an army there to stand behind him. As Americans, we get to use our voice. I'm asking you to help me use your voice for this case. Thank you. I've been through some scary stuff as a child. Things that I wish I would have given my dad the opportunity to save me from, but I didn't. I was too scared. This little girl has been through things that I cannot even imagine. By somebody that they trusted, somebody in a position of power. My dad would have done the same thing for me if I let him. So I'm going to ask you guys, on my page above my videos, you'll see a tab for Aaron Spencer. Please repost it. He groomed her. That's not courting. That is not courting. He groomed her. She was 13. He was the school resource officer, you guys. He was put in a trusted position. And if I'm reading correctly, former chief of police with possible political ties? I don't know about that one. Like I said, I just started going through this case yesterday. How many times in our life have we seen stories where fathers didn't show up? Where there wasn't a father. This one did. And he did what any true father should have done, in my opinion. He should be celebrated. He shouldn't be going through this legal battle. He should be yanked away from the little girl that needs him. But he is. He fought for our country. He's a veteran. Now, he needs us to fight for him. I put the link to the GoFundMe in our Facebook group, and I've just started on my videos. I think I have 3. And I'm begging you guys to please repost them. Any creator that you know, please ask them to cover this case. This case is a shining example of what a real father should be like. And he did the right thing. And now, he's going to go to jail for it. Regardless of whether or not he took her out of that bed or she walked out of that house, he had been grooming her. She was a minor. She was scared of him. He was released on bail after over 40 charges of the SA against her. They let him back out, you guys. We see cases of corruption all the time. Look at the case of Karen Read. Look at all the things that people did for that case. I'm asking you guys to please do that again for this case. For Aaron Spencer. To let him know that we appreciated him serving his country, but more importantly, saving his daughter. And that we'll be there behind him. Because he needs an army now. And many of us would have been so blessed to have a father that followed and did all of this, instead of one that doesn't show up, doesn't call, doesn't care. He did everything that the father should do in this situation. And now, he can get locked up, sent to jail. The gag order was lifted about a month ago. I just heard about this case yesterday. Am I triggered? Hell yes, I'm triggered. Am I furious? Hell yes, I'm furious. But I have a little bit of hope because I've seen us share cases that matter to us, and I've seen these cases lifted up and put in the spotlight. So I'm asking you guys now to please help this happen, to get his name out there for everyone to know who Aaron Spencer is. If you guys could help, I would appreciate that. We have the documents for this case. Documents I have right before me now is the pages that I was just showing you. Aaron Spencer has filed a I cannot talk, I'm sorry. He has filed a petition requesting that the gag order entered in Lanoke, am I saying that right, guys? Lanoke County Circuit Court criminal case be vacated. He argues the entry of the gag order was a plain, manifest, clear, and gross abuse of discretion that there's no other adequate remedy for. And I agree with them 100%. Corruption, yeah, 100%. Abuse of power, yeah, 100%. to the point to where he had over 40 charges, and they let him out on bail. And what do you think would happen then? Because it did. So, they've had a month. 1 month that this gag order has been lifted. How many of you have heard his name? How many of you have heard this case? Because I hadn't. They've had 1 month. Please help me reach this case as far as we can to every true crime creator, to anyone that follows true crime. They need our help. You did, thank you. They need our help. Again, we put their GoFundMe for their legal help in our Facebook. As you can see, they're only at $11,000, you guys. That is it. That is it. If we can have, we could see people raising over $1 million for Luigi, we can come together for this family. Arkansas. This is right out of Arkansas. So TikTok, do your thing. Make this man famous. For all the right reasons. They need our help. How many times do we sit here and bitch about the people that don't come through for their children? A lot. Now we have somebody that did, and they need our help. Again, I have tab above my videos with Aaron Spencer's name on it. Please watch those videos. Please like, please repost. Please help this case gain traction. Like I said, this man not only served our country, but he saved his daughter. They need us. And we need more men like him. Sorry. This one really gets me. I did some really stupid stuff when I was growing up. But there were times I was so terrified and wished that I could tell my dad so he could come save me. But I was stupid, and I didn't. But I dreamt about it. I dreamt of going to my dad and telling him things that had happened. And I dreamt of him doing the same thing. Saving me, just like he did. The fact that we still have men in this world that will do that is something that we need to celebrate. Because I don't know about you guys, but I was starting to think that there weren't many more men like this in our world. That little girl is blessed to have him as a father. And now that blessing could be taken away. So again, please guys, help me spread this story. Okay. Now I'm going to shift gears because we have a lot of other things here today too. Sorry, wrong one. The story I was just talking about is Aaron Spencer. I have tabs above my videos. One has his name on it. Please share it out. Okay. Now on to a lighter note. The house of cards is falling. So, here we are. We have someone that has been charged with leaking grand jury information. Let me pull this one up, guys. I know the documents are in here, but I think I mixed everything up with Aaron Spencer, so just give me a sec to pull it up. Here it is. Jessica Leslie. Okay. Count 1, criminal contempt. The United States Attorney's charges from or about August 11, 2022 through on or about March 4th, 2024 in the District of Massachusetts. The defendant, Jessica Leslie, knowingly and willfully disobeyed and resisted a lawful order, rule, decree, and command of the Court of the United States. That is Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure, the order and command of the Honorable Indra Talwani, United States District Judge on May 26, 2022, that a grand juror must not disclose a matter occurring before the grand jury when, on diverse dates, she disclosed information presented to the grand jury to unauthorized individuals. The names of various witnesses appearing before the grand jury and the substance of their testimony and other evidence presented to the grand jury, all while said information was under seal and not subject to disclosure. All in violation of Title 18, United States Code Section 4013. So there are consequences. There are consequences. We have everything here, okay. How do you say that? Jercut? This is Jessica Leslie for the Karen Read case. Let me put up a new sticker. Hold on. So this comes out of Middlesex County. Why does her counsel name sound so familiar? Keith Halpern. Somebody that violated the grand jury. She gave a name of various witnesses appearing before the grand jury and the substance of their testimony and other evidence presented to the grand jury. We were just sitting here the other day asking, when are we going to start seeing some consequences for people that do this in this case? Let's hope this is the first of many. Now, it's criminal contempt, 1 count, as well as a plea agreement. Okay, so now this says, Dear Attorney Halpern, the United States Attorney for the District of Massachusetts and your client, Jessica Leslie, agree as follows pursuant to Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure. 1. A change of plea. As soon as practicable, the defendant will waive indictment and plead guilty to 1 count of the information of criminal contempt in violation of 18 U.S.C. 401. Defendant admits that the defendant committed the crime specified in this count and is in fact guilty of it. The penalty. The defendant faces the following maximum penalties. incarceration for any term of years, supervised release for 5 years, a fine of $250,000, unless incarceration is imposed, and a mandatory special assessment of $100. Rule 11, plea. In accordance with Rule 11, if the court accepts this plea agreement, the court must include the agreed disposition of the judgment. If the court rejects any part of this plea agreement, the U.S. Attorney may void the agreement and or the defendant may withdraw from it. Defendant may not withdraw defendant's plea for any other reason. Should the U.S. Attorney void the agreement and or the defendant moves to withdraw the defendant's guilty plea, the defendant agrees to waive any defenses based upon the statute of limitations. The constitutional protection against pre-indicted delay and the Speedy Trial Act for all charges that could have been brought as the date of this plea agreement. 100%. Okay. Sentencing guidelines. The parties agree based on the following calculations: the defendant's total offense level under the guideline is 10. A. Defendant base offense level is 14. Defendant offense level is decreased by 2 because defendant has accepted responsibility for their crime. And C. The defendant's offense level is decreased by 2 because the defendant is a 0-point offender. The defendant understands that the court is not required to follow this calculation. The defendant also stands that the government will object to any reduction in the defendant's sentence based on acceptance of responsibility and may be released from the parties. Agreed upon in disposition in paragraph 5. If at sentencing, the defendant directly or through counsel indicates that the defendant does not fully accept responsibility for having engaged in the conduct underlying each of the elements of the crime to which the defendant is pleading guilty, or by the time of sentencing, the defendant has committed a new federal or state offense or has in any way obstructed justice. Nothing in this plea agreement affects the U.S. Attorney's obligation to provide the court and the U.S. Probation Office with accurate and complete information regarding this case. Agreed disposition. The parties agree on the following sentence. Incarceration for 1 day. Deemed served. No fine. 24 months of supervised release. And a mandatory special assessment of $100, which the defendant must pay the clerk of court by the date of sentencing. I'm sorry, what? Incarceration for 1 day deemed served? Are you kidding me? No fine? So it sounded really great up above when you were talking about $250,000, but now you're going to come down here in a subcategory and take it out. All right, next we have Section 6. Waiver of appellate rights and challenges to conviction or sentence. The defendant has the right to challenge the defendant's conviction. I don't know why they would. You only gave him 1 day in jail and you already have time served. So, sorry. I couldn't keep that part of me down. This means the defendant has the right to ask higher court, the appeals court, to look at what happened in the case, and if the appeals court finds that the trial court or parties made certain mistakes, overturn the defendant's conviction or sentence. Also, in some instances, the defendant has the right to file a separate civil lawsuit claiming that serious mistakes were made in this case. And the defendant's conviction or sentence should be overturned. Defendant understands that defendant has these rights, but now agrees to give them up. Specifically, the defendant agrees that A, the defendant will not challenge the defendant's conviction on direct appeal or in any other proceeding, including in a separate civil lawsuit. And B, The defendant will not challenge the defendant's sentence, including any court orders related to forfeiture, restitution, fines, or supervised release, on direct appeal, or in any other proceeding, including in a separate civil lawsuit. The U.S. Attorney agrees not to appeal the imposition of the sentence agreed to by the parties in paragraph 5. The defendant understands that by agreeing to the above, the defendant is agreeing that the defendant's conviction and sentence will be final when the court issues a written judgment after the sentencing hearing in this case. That is, after the court issues a written judgment, the defendant will lose the right to appeal or otherwise challenge the defendant's conviction and sentence regardless of whether the defendant later changes the defendant's mind or finds new information that would have led the defendant not to agree and to give up these rights in the first place. The defendant is agreeing to give up these rights in exchange for concession the U.S. Attorney is making in this agreement. The parties agreed that, despite giving up these rights, defendant keeps the right to later claim that the defendant's lawyer rendered ineffective assistance of counsel, or that the prosecutor or a member of law enforcement involved in the case engaged in misconduct serious enough to entitle the defendant to have the defendant's conviction or sentence overturned. Thank you. Number 7, civil liability. This plea agreement does not affect any civil liability, including any tax liability defendant has incurred or may later incur due to the defendant's criminal conduct and guilty plea to the charges specified in paragraph 1 of this agreement. Thank you. 8. Breach of plea agreement. The defendant understands that if the defendant breaches any provision of this agreement, violates any condition of the defendant's pretrial release, or commits any crime following the defendant's execution of the plea agreement, the defendant cannot rely upon such conduct to withdraw the defendant's guilty plea. The defendant's conduct, however, would give the U.S. Attorney the right to be released from the U.S. Attorney's commitments under the agreement, to pursue any charges that were or are to be dismissed under this agreement, and to use this defendant or any defendant's statement and any information or materials the defendant provided to the government during the investigation or prosecution of the defendant's case, even if the parties had entered any earlier written or oral agreements understanding the issue. The defendant also understands that if the defendant breaches any provisions of this agreement or engages in any of the aforementioned conduct, the defendant thereby waives any defenses based on the statute of limitations, constitutional protections against pre-indictment delay, and Speedy Trial Act. The defendant otherwise may have had any charges based on conduct occurring before the date of this agreement. 9. Who is bound by plea agreement? This agreement is only between the defendant and the U.S. Attorney for the District of Massachusetts. It does not bind the Attorney General of the United States or any federal, state, or employee prosecuting authorities. 10. Modifications to plea agreement. This agreement can be modified or supplemented only in written memorandums signed by both parties or through proceedings in open court. If this letter accurately reflects the agreement between the U.S. Attorney and the defendant, please have the defendant sign the acknowledgement of plea agreement below. Please also sign below as a witness. Return the original letter to the Assistant U.S. Attorney Ann Perudy. I probably said her name wrong, but I really don't care. And then it goes on to acknowledging that they've read it, etc., etc. She signed it on the 14th. And that is that. So, consequences? Some 1 day already served. But not even a monetary, guys. That $250,000 fine, not applicable here. Thank you. Good morning, by the way, guys. Sorry. I was trying just to read. You guys know how it gets with me. I see squirrel and I go off in 15 other directions. You're right. It's not. We are seeing a lot of cases right now that they're going through our judicial system in a way that's meant to protect us, but they're abusing it. Just like they were for Aaron Spencer's case. I did put the documents out, so they are on my page. So if you guys want to read them, they are there. Okay. Next topic is okay, thank you. Okay, so that Sandra sent a video that shows Travis Decker's chilling interaction with Driver just days before unaliving his 3 daughters. Interesting. Interesting. There's also an arrest. Right? 100%. I'm right there with you. There has been an arrest, guys, in Jamal's case. One second. Siobhan Williams. I don't know if you guys have seen that video where they roll up when he's on his bike, this little boy is. They have a firearm. They kidnap him. Now, who is Siobhan Williams to this child? I know I saw Steph was live with it this morning, and she had said, Mom. Could you imagine? No, I haven't. What's going on there? Could you imagine being behind a kidnapping that was that traumatizing for your own child? Now, her charges are pending. So this is literally all we have right now. I have her booking number, I have her height, I have her weight, and it shows that charges are pending, but not the details of said charges. So, we'll wait. Patiently wait within parameters to see what these charges are, because they're not in the system yet. But I'm going to let you guys know about them. Next we have, wait a second. Octavia told me that if that is Jamal's mother, she has a hold for DOC, which means she has allegedly violated parole. So the question is, was the parole violated before or after? And is it in relation? Shannon, can you do me a favor and message that to me? Otherwise, I'll probably forget it. Fibro fog is really bad. Thank you. Thank you. I don't know why don't I ever think of screenshotting that? That's why I have you guys. You help me out with that. Okay, what else do we have this morning? Allison, what you sent is so messed up. California couple accused of tricking women into carrying babies through surrogacy. 21 children have been seized. Are you talking about for Jamal? Yeah, I did put that video out yesterday. What the hell do you mean? They're seizing babies now? Thank you. They can seize babies, and a California couple can trick women into carrying babies through surrogacy? Apparently they can.
One of them. They are now in protective custody following a child abuse investigation where police allege a nanny violently shook and struck one of the babies. The surrogates that carried some of these children now shocked and devastated.
Got it. Thank you.
Kayla, why did you want to be a surrogate mother?
I love being pregnant, but I was done growing my own family. So I thought, what better way to get to experience pregnancy at the same time as help somebody grow their family.
Kayla, a 27-year-old Texas woman, wanted to be a surrogate mom to help a couple struggling to build a family. And she made it a reality when a surrogacy agency paired her with an Arcadia couple, and she agreed to have their baby by transferring their embryo via IVF. All went well medically, and the baby was born March 13th. But 2 months later, Kayla learned the baby she carried was not with mom and dad.
She is in a foster home. It's kind of worst case scenario, something that is almost unbelievable unless you're living it.
That wasn't the only heartbreaking news. She also found the baby she carried wasn't the only one removed from the home.
There was multiple other children taken. So yeah, it was devastating.
Child after child. In fact, KTLA spoke to 3 other women who did not want to be identified that say they were all surrogate mothers to this same couple. The women say they were recruited by an agency called Mark Surrogacy and did not know they were all caring for the same people. Public records show Mark Surrogacy listed this Arcadia home as its address and also show it's where Sylvia Zhang lives. That is the woman these surrogates say they carried for. It's also where Arcadia PD says a child abuse investigation led them in May after Sylvia and her partner's baby ended up in the hospital with head trauma. Arcadia PD says they arrested the couple living in the home, legally the baby's mom and dad, Sylvia Zhang and Guo Jin Shan, on suspicion of felony charges.
Child abuse, child endangerment.
Police allege a nanny abused the baby and the parents knew but did not get medical care for 2 days. Department of Children and Family Services investigated, removing the rest of the couple's children from their custody. But the number is staggering.
So in total, there were 21 children taken into protective custody related to the mother and father.
You heard right, 21 children, all taken into DCFS custody. As for Mark's surrogacy, public records show they filed papers terminating the company.
We're pretty far along.
But a Pennsylvania surrogate who says contractually she can't disclose her name or the parents says she is due in the fall, and she doesn't know where that baby will end up.
So we are carrying with Mark Surrogacy, and we're currently 26 weeks. And it really hit hard when all of this came through.
We received a text response from a cell phone associated with Sylvia Zhang saying any accusations of wrongdoing are misguided and wrong. We look forward to vindicating any such claims and if any actions are brought.
Mila, you can't go. She's trying to take over the crime cave, you guys. All right, let me see what we have here. Mila, quit being mischievous, little girl. What?
Narrative woman accused of shooting and killing her husband has been denied bond. Dale County District
Baby Binks isn't much of a baby anymore. He's like a mini panther. He's huge.
Attorney Kirk Adams confirmed that Annie Huffstutler was denied a chance at bail today, and we're learning that she was playing a video game with one of her children before getting up to get a pistol and going to the bathroom to search online how to shoot a gun before she allegedly shot Sean Watson. Police also say several of the children were inside the house on the day of the shooting. Huffstutler told deputies that the gun had fallen and gone off before, later recanting and admitting to the shooting. Huffstutler and Watson were married, but they did not share the same last name.
Wait. What? You know her? Why would she do that?
United Dothan native has high hopes for the future of the Circle City, and he believes he's the man to...
I know you're wanting pets, Mila, but you're going to have to wait a few minutes, baby. Now she's at my feet, demanding attention. Woman accused of shooting husband in his sleep. Wow. New information has been released about the case of a woman accused of shooting her husband in his sleep. District Attorney Kirk Adams tells WDHN that Annie Huffstutler was denied bond on Monday. She is charged with the murder of Sean Watson. Thank you for the follows, guys. Sheriff Mason Bynum said that during the bond hearing, investigators revealed that on the night of the murder, Huffstutler had been playing games with one of her children on the couch before getting up to get the pistol and going into the bathroom to search online how to shoot a gun. She initially had told the deputies that the gun had fallen and gone off, but later recanted and admitted to shooting. At the time of the murder, the sheriff said that there were 5 children in the home at the time of the shooting, but they did not see anything. Thank God. However, they did hear the shots. I cannot help but wonder if there's a history of mental health problems there. Part of me hopes that you'll say yes. That way, at least we have something that could say why. Why would you do that? With the children in the home? Also, the report is wrong. Saying 5, okay. That's a good question, Brittany. What is that? Yeah, that's what I was just reading. Verbally abusive. Yeah, married but different last names is what I'm reading too. In his sleep? Really? I'm definitely going to look into this one. Good morning, Kathy. How are you? Definitely going to look into this one. I have so many questions. So are people saying that she did this to save herself or her children? 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, I'll look into this case too. Yeah, while he's sleeping. I will definitely look into this case too. What was... I don't know what it is with people. I don't know, I'm people in their sleep lately, but we even had Sarah Grace do that to her parents in their sleep. I do not know this world that we live in anymore. I was just getting ready to ask what it was that you said. Let me pull it up because I think I screenshot it. Fall River, Massachusetts, PD statement. Okay. Are you talking about the multiple fatalities from the fire? No, I don't cover Gypsy Rose. Not my cup of tea. Two days ago, multiple fatality fire under investigation at Fall River Assisted Living. This is an unfathomable tragedy for the families involved in the Fall River community, said Chief Bacon. On behalf of the Fall River Fire Department, I want to express our heartfelt condolences to the loved ones who are grieving this morning. Oh, okay, that one. So that was the ending of that yesterday? We were live when that was happening. We were trying to see what was going on, but the coverage kept getting cut. I haven't followed it enough to speak on it, but I have seen it. But I haven't done any videos on that one yet. But I do know which case you're speaking of in Kentucky there. No, I have not, but I'll screenshot that one. Dominic Knight. Was there anyone else hurt yesterday? Okay, here it is. A man was fatally shot when he opened fire on police officers during a standoff at a home in Fall River, Massachusetts, early Tuesday morning. The standoff began with a report of an armed man in a mental health crisis, according to the Bristol Court District Attorney's Office and Fall River Police. Yeah, I know, we were covering, it happened live when we were live, but the coverage kept cutting out. Dominic Knight, 38, died after being wounded in the shootout at the Langley Street home, prosecutors said. State police are investigating what happened. Police released officer body-worn camera video of tactical officers entering the home at about 3. That went on all day? No, but I did take a screenshot of what you just said, so I'll look into that one. That went all the way to 3 in the morning? Damn. More than an hour after the initial report of a man experiencing suicidal ideation from family members and after attempts to negotiate by phone and loudspeaker. The video shows officers on the first floor spot a person at the top of the stairs to the second floor who then opens fire with what appears to be a handgun. Officers fire back and after several minutes go to the second floor where they find a man, officials said, had the 2 pew-pews. Police said he'd been shot in the head and was taken into custody while medical assistance was requested. Prosecutors said that he was later pronounced deceased at the hospital. That was a really long standoff. Thank you for the follows, guys. A mental health crisis. It doesn't say in here if anybody else was hurt, so I take it nobody else was hurt. I'll have to see if I can get a hold of that video. Yeah, I'll look for that video and see what I can find. One of these days, I'm going to come on with a good story to tell you guys, with good news. It's not always going to be bad. One day. All right, let me just see if I'm forgetting anything else. Oh, on their Facebook? Okay. Mila, what are you doing, little girl? She's mischievous. The family is furious. One sec. She's mischievous. The family is furious. One sec. I hate it when every time I log into my Facebook on my computer, it asks me if I gave myself permission, and then it asks if I want it to remember that I gave it permission, but it never remembers. I don't know. Fall River. Okay, I'm here. Not on the Massachusetts state website, right? I don't know why it took me there. Here we go, I found it. On July 15, 2025, at approximately 1:37 a.m., the Fall River Police Department received multiple emergency calls from concerned family members regarding a male relative who was experiencing a mental health crisis. Callers reported that the male was expressing self-unaliving ideations and was in possession of a firearm. Upon arrival, responding officers immediately secured the perimeter and began evacuating residents from the adjoining duplex, as well as family members residing in the same home as the male. While securing the area, additional calls continued to come in from family members reiterating the man's intent to harm himself. Given the nature and the urgency of the situation, medical personnel were requested to stage nearby. At approximately 2:25 a.m., a trained crisis negotiator arrived on the scene and initiated multiple attempts to communicate with the male using phone calls, text messages, and a loudspeaker. Despite all efforts, communication was not successfully established. At 2:42 a.m., the department's emergency service unit arrived to assist in securing the residence and further support communication efforts. After nearly an hour on unsuccessful attempts to establish dialogue, the decision was made to breach the front entry and reestablish communications. Thank you. At approximately 3:15 a.m., ESU breached the front door and maintained a secure position at the threshold. Movement was immediately observed at the top of the staircase, directly in front of the entryway. While ESU officers stood in the doorway, the male fired upon them from the top of the stairs. Officers returned fire while repositioning away from the entry. Communications effort continued both prior to and following the exchange of gunfire. After regaining position, ESU deployed a flashbang distraction device and made entry into the home. At approximately 3:18 a.m., the male was located at the top of the stairs. He was found in possession of a short-barreled rifle, equipped with a drum magazine beneath his body, and a handgun near his hand. The male appeared to have sustained a GSW to the side of the head. Officers immediately rendered the scene safe and requested medical assistance. The male was taken into custody at the time. This release includes body-worn camera footage capturing the ESU's response, beginning with the tactical entry and continuing through the suspect's apprehension. Still images from the footage show the firearms found in the male's possession. This matter remains under active investigation by the Bristol County District Attorney's Office in conjunction with Massachusetts State Police. I can't show you guys the footage, but I will put it on my YouTube. I can't show you guys this though. Did they not think about the family seeing this? Did they not give them a minute? They put this man's death on camera, released it publicly, before giving the family a minute to breathe. And they didn't even blur out the victim. So I could see how this is split down the middle. I can see. Because they were exchanging gunfire. They were. But why would they publicly release all that without giving the family any time or notice? Because of the public outcry? Clear transparency? Okay, I got you. What is the right move here, you guys? Thank you, Lorianne. What was the right thing to do in this situation? Was it to release this footage and defend themselves? Or maybe giving it another day? We do always say we want full transparency. It didn't even blur out his body, you guys. I can see how there's a divide on this. I can see how there's a divide. I'm not even sure. I know I would be angry at having to see this put publicly. But at the same time, I'll bitch 5 minutes later about wanting full transparency. Yeah, 100%. Most definitely should have. Thank you for pointing me here. And now that I know that they show his unaliving and they don't blur out the body, I will not be sharing this video. I know most people in this situation would be sharing it, but I don't do that. I don't do that. But give me more time to think on this. This was an active scene after a standoff for a male in crisis. Thank you, babe. This is a tough one. I could totally see in Massachusetts. Hey. Yes, Charlie, you're 100% right. 100% right. I'm right there with you on that. That's why I could see how this gets split down the middle. When fired upon, they do have to do something. But my questioning is whether or not they should have shared the video that quickly without blurring out his body. That's all I'm wondering. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have been able to defend themselves and save each other. I'm questioning them releasing the video without delay. But I also see that we always say we want full transparency. And then I also see that I'm sitting here bitching about the transparency being given. I could see why. I could see why this one's split. Hey, Cass, how are you? That's the part that I'm confused with. And I'm also wondering if they had the right people there for what they were told they were walking into. I don't know. I will look into it, but I will not be putting this video on my page. I'm not okay with that. It'll be very interesting to see what it said from this. Thank you. I understand the exchange. I understand having to defend themselves. Thank you. We're discussing the one from the standoff yesterday in Massachusetts, where a man, there was calls in saying that he wanted to unalive himself. He exchanged gunfires with police, and his life was ended, and then police put up their body cam video of it on Facebook. Oh, 100%. You know, with all the cases that we've been looking at lately, you can't help but wonder if we're looking at corruption or honest police work. I don't think that this is a winning situation for anybody. Boba. That wasn't a winning situation for anyone, the victim or the law enforcement. But when you're law enforcement and someone is firing, that's what they're supposed to do. Did they do everything right? I don't know. But I do not agree with them showing the body cam footage and not blurring out his body. But again, I'll be the same person that will say, I want full transparency. So I get it. I get it. 100%. I could see why people are split down the middle on this. Especially when we've been doing so many cases lately where people in law enforcement are in law enforcement to abuse that position. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look into this some more. Seeing the footage and I didn't even blur them out, that does bother me. But we're also the same people that say we want full transparency. So I totally can see both sides of this. So yeah, I will look into that one more later too. Thank you. Let me see if we have any other headlines to cover here. American Idol and supervisor and husband found murdered in their LA mansion. A small plane was hijacked in Vancouver.
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, this is truly shocking. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have a lot of questions. Investigators do too. And you may be saying, oh, this was just a small plane, but there were big planes flying all around it. It's an incredibly dangerous situation that could have ended very differently. This morning, a suspected hijacking in the skies above one of North America's busiest airports.
We do have an aircraft that has been hijacked. It's in the vicinity of the airport.
This was the plane, a small single-engine Cessna 172, and it was going in circles over the Vancouver airport Tuesday, all plane traffic held in place.
Yeah, there's a little Cessna orbiting the airport, trying to stop everyone from going flying for some reason.
Vancouver is a major international airport, and so nobody knew whether the person had nefarious intent and intended to hurt themselves or to crash into somewhere on the Vancouver airport. So quite concerning.
Air traffic control alerting other pilots already in the skies nearby to be on the lookout and take caution.
I'm just going to let you know that so that you can continue looking out the window. It's a 172, and just in case anything starts heading towards you, you have the ability to move at your discretion.
Now an urgent investigation underway, authorities saying that the person who took control did it in protest, but it's unclear what the protest was for.
Looks like he's on the downwind right now.
The plane ultimately landing safely, police seen in this video surrounding it, taking the...
Listen, you don't hijack a plane in protest. I think collectively, you get an entire country to agree with you on that. You don't hijack a plane in protest. We have enough memories of horrible things that happen when people hijack a plane. This is not how you protest.
Suspect into custody. So this morning, those questions: who was this alleged hijacker? How did he get in that plane? Why did he start flying it? What was the protest for? Those are all important questions for investigators this morning because, again, we're worried about those passenger jets, those large passenger jets flying off.
Even without thinking about the other large passenger jets. That's not how you protest. Thank you for the follow. And protest? Are you kidding me? If you guys were not in here when we started, I don't co-host, go away. If you guys were not, I said go away, I don't co-host. Sorry. If you guys were not in here when I started, I brought up a case that I'm asking you guys to share. It is a case that I feel, for once, the father showed up and saved his child, and now that child might lose their father. This is a case out of Arkansas. Aaron Spencer. Really? When? There's a tab above my videos that has Aaron Spencer's name on it. If you guys would please repost those videos, I would really appreciate it. This is a story that needs international attention. just on the news? Okay, let me see. Three hours.
A double homicide where police say they don't know the motive and they don't even know why the alleged shooter was inside the house. Overnight, after an hours-long manhunt and arrest in the violent homicide of an award-winning American Idol producer and her songwriter husband.
The victims were ruthlessly shot multiple times.
Robin Kay and Thomas DeLuca, both 70 years old, found shot to death inside their multi-million-dollar home in Los Angeles.
The suspect had managed to scale over one of the fences, gain access to the residence, and he entered an unlocked or unsecured door of the residence. And he was there for approximately half an hour.
Investigators say when the couple returned home Thursday, the suspect, 22-year-old Raymond Budarian, was inside. They say a violent struggle ensued, with Budarian allegedly shooting both Kay and DeLuca multiple times in the upper body and head, then fleeing the house. And authorities say they still don't know why he allegedly broke in.
Right now, it is an apparent random attack. The house did not appear to be ransacked.
Police received calls about a possible burglary that day.
My renter called 911 on Thursday because she saw somebody hopping the fence.
When officers responded, they say they saw no signs of a break-in on the ground or from a police helicopter. It wasn't until Monday afternoon when they received another call from concerned friends.
Welfare job.
Investigators then saw blood on the front door and smashed a window to gain entry, finding the couple dead in separate rooms. A spokesperson for American Idol says Robin has been a cornerstone of the Idol family since 2009, serving as music supervisor for some of the program's biggest moments. In a statement, they say Robin will remain in our hearts forever, and we share our deepest sympathy with her family and friends during this difficult time. And police say they identified the suspect because he has a criminal history and forensics from that blood on the scene matched with him. The American Idol team says they are devastated by the couple's passing.
One of these days, and we're red. Can you guys even hear me? It went red for a minute there. One of these days, I'll come on with good news. I promise, guys. I promise. One of these days. What is this?
Also new tonight, 4 suspects accused of the killing of a North Carolina man took plea deals today. Samantha Watts of Green Sea admitted to her role in the murder of Corey Souls after her trial was set to get underway today. She'll now spend 45 years in prison. Now, Watts' 2 children, Peyton and Amber, and another family member, Jonathan Watts, also took plea deals. Police say Souls was reported missing in January of 2023. According to warrants, Samantha and Peyton allegedly beat Souls to death, and the others involved allegedly disposed of his body and hid evidence. News 13 asked Souls' mother for comment on the deals outside of the courtroom today, but she declined.
So they were supposed to start, and they struck a plea deal. I don't think that counts as family time. It doesn't count as family time when you have your children come in to help you commit a crime. That's not family time, in case there was any confusion. Like Aaron said, the hell? And I want to be clear, plea deals, more than one struck, so not just for the mother. The mother and her 3 children take plea deals. So that case will not be starting today. I don't recognize this world, you guys. I don't even know what this world has turned into. Then there's a trial beginning for a dentist accused of fatally poisoning his wife. Right? Again, I think she should get a trophy. That's sarcasm, in case anybody was wondering. There's also something else going on right now. A hearing for Robert Roberson's execution out of Texas. Absolutely. Yeah, thank you.
From the previous presiding judge that were signed on February 14th, 2022, based on an evidentiary hearing that had happened over a year before that. And in
Okay, thank you. And by the way, guys, if you're not in our Facebook group, it's Criminal Musings. We post a lot of our updates in there, as well as for Aaron Spencer's case, the information for the fundraiser. Not exactly sure that listening to them make a decision on execution day hearing is the best thing to do on TikTok lately. But it's on Fox 4 Dallas Fort Worth if any of you guys are interested. Hey, how are you? Thank you. Oh, that's what you're going to send? That's what I started talking about today. And I also asked that you guys repost those videos. I have a tab now, Aaron Spencer. We were up late last night looking into this case. This is a different situation. This is a case where the dad showed up. The dad did what he needed to protect his baby girl. And now he's on trial for murder. So if you guys can help me by reposting any of those videos, we want to get his name out as far as we can. I don't care what creator you tell this story to, but start telling it. If we come together to help bring awareness to Karen Read, and people came together to raise over $1 million for Luigi, we come together to put this story in the spotlight. So not only am I asking that you guys help me do that, but I'm challenging. The daughter was 13. The man was a grown-ass man. Former chief of police, I believe. No, the one I'm talking about is this one. That's not a boyfriend. That's a groomer. He was the school resource officer. And my understanding, former chief of police. That was not a boyfriend. That is not a boyfriend. She was 13. That's not a boyfriend. Some of you guys know about my life, my past. I was the dumbass that went around at 14 and 15 years old thinking that I was in love with a man that was over 22. I can tell you wholeheartedly, at that age, regardless of what we say or think we know, we do not know what we're doing. We are being preyed upon. We're not making a choice to be in a relationship. That is not a relationship. That is grooming. That is abuse. at 14, 15 years old, I didn't know. I thought I knew. I thought I was in love. I was wrong. This is not a relationship. This is grooming. This is rape. This is abuse. This is stalking. And now her dad that saved her is going to go to jail for this. That's not a relationship. Yeah. It's amazing how we can't see that at that age. But wait till, you know, we're in our 30s and 40s, then we start to understand. I thought I was in a real loving relationship. I asked my therapist, why did I always happen to pick the people that hurt me? And she had told me that it wasn't me picking them, that it was them picking me, seeing that they could do stuff to me, that there's people that look for those specific type of traits in a child, and that's what they go after. That was not a relationship. I thought I picked him. I didn't. Neither did she. You have a person that, my understanding, he was the former chief of police and the school resource officer. Good morning. You missed Mila. She was in here co-hosting with me here. I forgot what I was saying. Squirrel. Dang it. Totally forgot what I was saying here. Fibrofog is a bitch. Yeah, my understanding, thank you guys, is that he was the chief of police. He was the school resource, former chief of police, school resource officer. You want to know what else? Want to know what else he was? He was a predator. He was a predator. He was arrested for the essay, the rape of that little girl. And he was given the teeniest little bail. And he got out. And what he did was turn around, took her again to hurt her again. This was another case of someone being in a position of trust, in a position of power, and using that to pick their victims. People in their most vulnerable state. In a position that they should not have to think would be one of the positions that would come to hurt them. The judge is the one that let him out. Yeah. The judge was also the one that put a gag order over the case. So nobody could talk about it until they went up to higher courts. And I did post that. So if you guys want to hear what happened there, they dropped it. We're seeing a lot of cases lately that are being put under gag orders. Are we seeing an abuse of gag orders? Because it's starting to seem like we are. What are you doing, Mila? Mila's still here. Ooh, what is this? Family living in hell as California teacher vanishes from yoga retreat. Mila. Mila? Where'd she go? Oh, Binks is back here too. Binks is here to cause havoc too.
Mila was behind you. She's underneath the chair right now.
Can you pick her up?
Who, Mila?
Yeah.
Oh, look between your legs.
She heard you.
Mm-hmm.
Binksy, you want to come say hi to your aunties and uncles? Mila.
They were playing Jack Me Nimble.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy. So again, you guys, Aaron Spencer, please repost those videos. I don't know if y'all know this, but there's been a change on TikTok to where we can only hashtag 5 items. So they're not going to reach the audiences that they used to. So you guys see a case that you see as important, please, for the love of God, like it and repost it. That's the only way we're going to get these cases to gain traction. Especially now that they've changed that. Remind me, guys, we're going to be looking into later. Nancy N.G. Yoga teacher, or California teacher, vanishes from yoga retreat. It's okay. I've got a tab above my videos with Aaron Spencer's name on it. Help me push that out, guys. If everybody could come together and raise all that money for Luigi's legal fund and spreading for Gypsy and everybody else, we can do this for a father that showed up and did the right thing and saved his daughter. Alright, let me see here. What?
Unsealed court documents in the Crystal Rogers case shining a light on the Houck family. As WDRB's Richard Essex explains, investigators found a strange pattern of cell phone activity around the time Rogers disappeared.
We are also learning more information in these documents about Rosemary Houck, that's Brooke Houck's mom. Over the course of the trial, she was named an unindicted co-conspirator. The new evidence came today, Tuesday, 1 week after Houck and Joseph Lawson were found guilty in Crystal Rogers' murder. In the documents, the state filed a motion to make the judge aware and planned to claim Rosemary and Nick Houck, Brooke Houck's mother and brother, were part of the conspiracy to kill Rogers. Court documents reveal the coming and goings of the Houck family. During a grand jury testimony, a witness testified that Rosemary Houck seemed to take pleasure in Crystal's disappearance. And the witness claims that Rosemary Houck was overheard saying that Crystal Rogers should have disappeared long before she did, and that now that she is gone, her child would be raised right. The documents go on to say it would hardly be by chance that Rosemary Houck was asking questions of the purpose of hiring someone to kill Crystal Rogers in the time near Miss Rogers' disappearance. We also learned a cell phone obtained by search warrant from Rosemary in August of 2015 showed no activity between June 16th, 2015 and August 4th, 2015. The court documents say this would indicate Rosemary was using a different phone during that period of Crystal's murder and that communication on that phone was never obtained by law enforcement. Investigators have never found Crystal Rogers' body. In the court documents, investigators say that there is surveillance video captured a vehicle going down a road at 3:32 in the morning and it exited Houck's farm at 3:45. It is believed that the body was moved at that time. Brooke Houck told investigators that he never cheated on Crystal. However, investigators found a woman who claimed to have sex with Houck in the basement of a house he had under construction. She told investigators the liaison happened within a month of Crystal's disappearance. In Louisville, Richard Essex, WDRB News.
Again, where's Rosemary's charges? Does this mean that there'll be charges for Rosemary? It's my opinion that there should definitely be. And for Brooke's brother Nick, who was a police officer at the time. I don't know what it is with people abusing their positions of power lately. Well, for years, honestly. They recently unsealed documents Okay. Hold on. An armed man was arrested at the U.S. Capitol for guns and swords. That's what I almost said. I caught myself before the rest of the word came out. I stopped myself at the first two letters. You guys should be so proud of me for that. The hell is going on in this world, you guys? Yeah. I don't even know how I caught myself on that one. Did you guys hear about the 12-year-old that was charged with first-degree murder in New Mexico? The officials are saying youth crime is out of control. And it is. And we had yesterday a small plane disappeared miles off the San Diego coast.
Meanwhile, more fallout from the Karen Reed murder trial. A grand juror has admitted to leaking information. This is a woman from Dracut who sat on the federal grand jury that investigated the state's handling of Reed's murder case. Now, according to the Boston Globe, Jessica Leslie pleaded guilty to criminal contempt for leaking information about the grand jury proceedings. She's accused of disclosing sealed information, including the names of witnesses who appeared before the grand jury and details of their testimony.
We went over those documents already, so we're not going to go over them again. But I figured those of you that weren't in here would want to hear that. Unhinged pregnant teacher smiles as she faces judge for teen sex charges. What the hell is going on in this world? Did we wake up and accidentally step into 5 different backwards matrices or something? I don't recognize this world, and I don't even know if I stepped through the right matrix when I got out of bed this morning. Because clearly, there's a confusion in the matrix. There's a glitch in the matrix, right? That has to be it, right? For the love of God, somebody tell me I'm right. Because this can't possibly be our world, right? You want to know something ironic? When this year started, I told everybody on my team and my friends that I was going to do something much different than what I usually do. I was going to look at 2025 with the glass half full. And I've been trying so hard. It's just not working. They keep throwing things at us that's making it... Binksy, what are you doing? Oh, he's playing with the ball. That's making it really freaking hard to look at this year with the glass half full. But I'm trying. Yeah, let me know how door 3 works for you, because clearly I stepped in the wrong matrix every damn day of 2025. Police chase ends in Galveston with suspect down. Thank you guys for almost getting us to 50K. Huh. They've got a helicopter over the area, but there's no movement and it's really high in the sky, so not much to see. I was going to pull it back up for it, but the chase has ended and the suspect is down, so we don't need to pull it up for that. I just got a text from my mom, and all it says is, one huge cat. I don't even know what she sent me. No, Texas. Galveston. Thank you. Hold on. What I'm going to do, guys, my husband's getting ready to walk out the door, so I'm going to end this so I can go kiss him goodbye, and then I'll be back for us to start our Karen Read Trial 1. So give me like 5 minutes, and then I'll be right back, and we can pick up where we left off. Yeah, it was for the police chase, unless there's something else going on. I'll see you guys in 5 minutes, though. This is on Fox 26 Houston, and the suspect is down. I'll be back in 5 minutes, guys. See you soon.